Hi, I'm Georgia, and welcome back to the channel where we cut through the fluff and give you real practical dating advice that actually works. Today, we're diving into a topic that might ruffle a few feathers, but every man needs to hear. 5 secrets. Every man must never tell women. She'll never see you the same. Now, before you freak out and start imagining some secret diary of forbidden tricks, relax. I'm not talking about lying, cheating, or being manipulative. I'm talking about things that destroy attraction, make women lose respect, or instantly kill the mystery. And yes, they're things men say all the time without even realizing it. Let's face it, most men sabotage themselves with words. They overshare their insecurities, confess feelings too early, or try way too hard to prove themselves. And here's the kicker. Women notice it, and it changes how they see you forever. You might think you're being honest or cute, but in reality, you're signaling neediness, low confidence, or a lack of value. That's the opposite of attraction. The good news? Once you understand these secrets, you can avoid them, maintain mystery, confidence, and high value, and instantly make yourself more attractive. You don't need a big game plan or tricks. You just need to think before you speak and understand how certain things land in her mind. In this video, I'll break down the 5 key things men must never say, explain why each one destroys attraction, and show you the better way to communicate that keeps her intrigued, laughing, and wanting more. And yes, we'll add a little humor along the way because dating doesn't have to feel like a psychology exam. You can have fun while learning this stuff. Before we jump in, 2 quick things. Subscribe to the channel if you want more honest dating advice that actually works in the real world. And drop a comment below telling me the biggest thing you've accidentally said to ruin attraction. Don't worry, we've all been there. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's uncover the 5 secrets every man must never tell women. Because once you know these, you'll understand why some guys instantly become forgettable and why others suddenly seem impossible to get out of her mind. 1. Never overshare insecurities. All right, gentlemen, let's kick things off with one of the biggest mistakes men make: oversharing insecurities. And no, I'm not talking about showing a little vulnerability at the right time. That can be attractive. I'm talking about unloading your emotional baggage too early, too often, or in ways that make her question your confidence and value. Here's the reality. Women are wired to notice confidence and stability. When a man constantly talks about his fears, doubts, or shortcomings, it sends a subconscious signal. I'm not sure of myself, I need validation, I can't handle life confidently. And that kills attraction. Imagine she's enjoying your humor, energy, and presence, and then you suddenly dive into a monologue about how you've never succeeded in your career, how insecure you feel about your body, or how terrified you are of commitment. That emotional dumping creates discomfort instead of connection. Fact time, research in social psychology shows that people naturally respond negatively to excessive self-focus and insecurity, especially early in a connection. When you overshare fears or weaknesses before trust is built, it triggers a subconscious red flag in her mind. Attraction drops because women instinctively evaluate stability and potential value in a partner. Here's an example to make it concrete. Imagine a man says, "Honestly, I've never been good with women. I don't even know if I'm attractive. Sometimes I feel like I'll never find someone." Ouch. Even if he's being honest, she's now forced to mentally process his low self-esteem. Instead of feeling playful, intrigued, or excited, she feels pressure or pity, and attraction plummets. So, what's the smarter way? Subtle vulnerability paired with confidence. A light, relatable comment is fine. "Sometimes I overthink stuff, but I'm working on it." But keep it short, casual, and humorous if possible. The key is showing humanity without burdening her with your emotional struggles. She wants a man who can handle life, not one who needs her to fix him. Humor is your secret weapon here. If you can joke about minor insecurities instead of over-explaining them, you create relatability without lowering value. For instance, "I tried cooking last night. Let's just say the smoke alarm is now my biggest critic," is funny, human, and self-aware, but not desperate. She laughs, remembers your humor, and sees confidence wrapped in humility. Another tip: self-awareness over self-pity. Recognize your insecurities internally and work on them, but don't use her as your emotional therapist. Men who handle insecurities privately and project confidence in interactions naturally become more attractive. Bottom line, oversharing insecurities too early destroys attraction because it signals neediness, low self-esteem, and instability. Instead, balance honesty with confidence, sprinkle in humor, and keep the emotional load manageable. When done right, vulnerability enhances your charm, but when done wrong, it erases it. 2, never complain about your past. All right, gentlemen, let's tackle the second deadly mistake men make, complaining about your past. And no, I don't mean telling a funny story or sharing a meaningful experience. I mean whining, blaming, or venting about your exes, failed relationships, or past hardships in a way that makes her question your emotional stability. This is one of the fastest ways to make a woman see you differently, and not in a good way. Here's the hard truth. Women instantly judge how a man handles his past. If you constantly complain or bring up exes negatively, you signal unresolved baggage. She starts thinking, if he can't handle his past, how can he handle me? Even subtle venting, like, my last girlfriend didn't understand me, or I've had bad luck with women, puts her in a position where she has to process your failures instead of enjoying your presence. Psychology backs this up. Studies on attraction show that people are drawn to emotional stability and resilience. Men who can frame their past positively, learn from experiences, and maintain confidence are far more attractive. Complaining flips this upside down. It creates negativity, triggers subconscious red flags, and lowers perceived value. Women aren't interested in hearing your sob story. They want to see a man who can handle life with confidence and humor. Here's an example of what not to say. Yeah, my last girlfriend was crazy. She just didn't appreciate me. I've had nothing but bad luck. See what happened there? Suddenly, she's processing your anger, frustration, and blame. The moment she hears negativity about your past, your charm and mystery evaporate. She might still be polite, but subconsciously she's checking out emotionally. So, what's the better way? Keep it neutral, humorous, or insightful. If the topic comes up, you could say something like, relationships are tricky. I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't. It's all part of the adventure. Boom. You acknowledge your past, show growth, and keep the energy light and confident. She now sees a man who is reflective, self-aware, and resilient, not bitter or needy. Another tip, don't share too much too soon. Early interactions should focus on fun, curiosity, and value, not your emotional history. Save deeper discussions for a later stage when trust and interest are already established. Oversharing struggles or complaints early is like giving her a manual to see your flaws before she's invested. Not attractive. Humor works wonders here as well. A playful line like, let's just say my past dates prepared me for better pizza toppings, not heartbreak, is lighthearted, funny, and subtly hints at growth. She laughs, enjoys your energy, and your past becomes irrelevant or even charming rather than a turnoff. Bottom line, complaining about your past kills attraction because it signals negativity, blame, and emotional immaturity. Instead, frame experiences with humor, insight, or neutrality. Keep the focus on your growth, your energy, and your present self. That's how women see you as high value, confident, and worth investing in emotionally. 3, never reveal every detail about yourself. All right, gentlemen, this is a big one. Never reveal every detail about yourself too soon. And no, I'm not talking about lying or being mysterious for the sake of being shady. I'm talking about oversharing your life, thoughts, or plans in a way that removes intrigue and instantly kills attraction. Mystery isn't manipulation. It's about keeping her curious, engaged, and thinking about you even when you're not around. Here's the reality. Humans are wired to value what they can't fully predict. When a woman feels like she knows everything about you in the first few dates or early conversations, the brain stops paying attention. Suddenly, you go from being fascinating, playful, and high value to, well, ordinary. Oversharing removes the mental chase that keeps her intrigued. For example, imagine a guy who texts nonstop about his daily schedule, family drama, career frustrations, and every minute thought he has. It's like giving her the full blueprint of your life before she's invested. There's no room for curiosity, no energy left for playful banter, and no tension that makes her want more. She might be polite, but subconsciously her brain says, I've seen it all. I don't need to chase or wonder. Attraction drops fast. Psychology backs this up. Studies on interpersonal attraction show that controlled disclosure, sharing information gradually, creates deeper emotional engagement. When a person reveals themselves slowly, it triggers curiosity, anticipation, and replaying interactions in the other person's mind. Oversharing, on the other hand, satisfies curiosity too early and removes the mental hooks that drive attraction. So what's the smarter approach? Be selective and playful with your sharing. Drop hints about interesting parts of your life without over-explaining. For instance, instead of detailing every career struggle, you could say, I had a wild meeting today. I might tell you the story over coffee sometime. Boom. You hint at intrigue, you create curiosity, and she now wants to hear more. You've created mental hooks instead of giving away the whole story. Humor is key here. A little joke or self-deprecating tease works wonders. For example, I tried cooking last night. Let's just say the smoke alarm is now my biggest fan. She laughs. She imagines your life, and you've shared a piece of yourself without overloading her. Mystery stays alive, attraction grows, and she starts mentally replaying your interactions. Another tip, keep some energy for later conversations. Every interaction should leave her wanting more. Don't hand her the full package in the first hour or through endless texting. Let your life and personality reveal themselves gradually. Women love discovery. It's what makes you memorable, exciting, and high value. Bottom line, revealing every detail too soon destroys attraction because it removes curiosity, mental engagement, and the playful tension that drives desire. Instead, share selectively, tease playfully, and leave room for curiosity. Keep her thinking about you long after you leave, and you instantly increase your value in her eyes. Next, we'll move into section 4, never beg or over-explain, where I'll show you why desperation is a deal breaker and how to maintain calm, confident energy that keeps her intrigued. 4. Never beg or over-explain all right. Gentlemen, if there's one thing that instantly kills attraction, it's begging or over-explaining yourself. And yet, so many men do it without even realizing it. A simple misstep like trying too hard to justify your actions, asking for reassurance, or over-texting because you're anxious is enough to flip her interest switch from curious and intrigued to meh next. Here's the reality. Women are wired to be attracted to confidence, not desperation. When you beg or over-explain, you signal the opposite: neediness, insecurity, and low self-worth. Even if your intentions are pure, like wanting to clarify a misunderstanding or show that you care, overdoing it backfires. She doesn't just see your words, she senses your emotional energy. Panic, pleading, or excessive justification screams low value, and her brain reacts by lowering attraction. A classic example, texting her after a date. I had a great time, hope you liked it too. I hope I didn't say anything weird. I just really like spending time with you. See what happened there? Instead of excitement, intrigue, or humor, she's now processing your neediness. The interaction goes from playful and attractive to emotionally heavy and uncomfortable. Here's a psychological fact. Studies in social and behavioral psychology show that over-communicating or begging reduces perceived value. People are drawn to those who display confidence, emotional stability, and independence. When you chase approval, you hand over your power and make yourself less desirable. Your goal isn't to convince her you're worthy, it's to demonstrate worth naturally through your behavior and energy. So, what's the smarter approach? Keep it light, playful, and confident. If you want to clarify something, do it briefly and calmly, without over-explaining or justifying every detail. For example, a simple, "Had fun today, hope you enjoyed it too," works infinitely better than a 5-paragraph apology or explanation. You've expressed your interest, kept the energy positive, and maintained value. Humor is a lifesaver here. You can diffuse tension while reinforcing confidence. For instance, if a conversation starts to get awkward, a line like, "I promise my jokes are better in person," maybe shows playfulness, not desperation. She laughs, enjoys your presence, and attraction remains high. Another key point, resist the urge to chase reassurance. If she's not responding instantly or seems distant, your instinct might be to beg, over-message, or explain why she should care. Don't. Step back, maintain your energy, and let your absence and your calm confidence do the work. Desperation kills desire, patience fuels it. Bottom line, begging or over-explaining destroys attraction because it signals insecurity, lowers perceived value, and creates emotional discomfort. Instead, stay calm, keep it playful, and communicate with confidence. Let her chase curiosity, not you. 5. Never lie about your intentions. All right, gentlemen, here's one that trips up a lot of men. Lying or being vague about your intentions. And I don't mean small white lies like "I love pizza" when you hate it. I mean the kind that misleads a woman about your feelings, interest, or goals. It's tempting to play it safe, to keep her guessing, or to say what you think she wants to hear. But here's the truth. Lying about your intentions kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Why? Because women are wired to detect inconsistencies and subtle cues. Even if she doesn't consciously know you're being dishonest, her subconscious picks up on mismatched energy, vague promises, or contradictory behavior. Her brain starts asking questions. Does he really mean what he says? Can I trust him? And once trust wavers, attraction drops. Mystery is fun, deception is not. Example time. A guy tells a woman, "I'm looking for something casual," while secretly hoping for a serious relationship, or vice versa. Eventually, she senses the mismatch, even if she can't pinpoint it. That uncertainty creates frustration, disappointment, and emotional disconnection. Lying about intentions may give temporary comfort or perceived safety, but it erodes respect and attraction long term. Psychology backs this up. Studies on relational dynamics show that clarity and consistency increase perceived value. A man who knows what he wants and communicates it confidently signals stability, control, and authenticity, all traits that women find attractive. Conversely, uncertainty or dishonesty triggers subconscious warning signals. Attraction is tied to perceived emotional safety, confidence, and reliability. Misleading her destroys all three. So, what's the better approach? Be direct, honest, and confident about your intentions, but phrase it in a way that still creates intrigue. For example, instead of blurting, "I want a serious relationship right now," you could say, "I like spending time with people I connect with, and let's see where this goes." It's honest without being heavy, clear without being desperate, and playful enough to keep her curious. Humor also works here. If she presses for clarity, you can say something like, "I'm not a mind reader, but I promise I'm fun to hang out with. You're lighthearted, direct, and still high value." She gets your honesty, enjoys your energy, and respects your transparency. Key takeaway: lying about your intentions destroys attraction because it signals dishonesty, inconsistency, and emotional instability. Women want a man who is confident, reliable, and clear, someone whose words and actions match. Be honest, playful, and direct, and you'll maintain intrigue while building respect and attraction simultaneously. 6. Never apologize excessively. Gentlemen, let's address a subtle but deadly attraction killer: over-apologizing. Saying sorry once when you genuinely mess up is fine. Saying it 5, 10, or 20 times, or apologizing for things that don't need apologies, that kills your value instantly. Women are wired to notice confidence and self-assuredness. Excessive apologies signal insecurity, low self-esteem, and a lack of control, which makes you less attractive, fast. Here's the reality. Attraction thrives on confidence and emotional stability. When a man constantly apologizes, he's projecting the opposite. Even minor errors, like being late, missing a text, or messing up a joke, don't require an over-apology. Women notice your energy, tone, and presence. If it screams panic or guilt, she feels discomfort instead of intrigue. Imagine a man texting, "I'm sorry for texting too late. Sorry if I bothered you. Sorry if this is annoying. I just hope you're okay." That's not charm, that's desperation. She may respond politely, but subconsciously she's checking out emotionally. Psychology explains this clearly. Studies in social behavior show that people value those who take accountability without self-deprecation. A confident man accepts mistakes calmly, makes adjustments, and moves on. Over-apologizing, however, triggers subconscious signals of low self-worth. Attraction drops because women want a partner who is stable, self-assured, and capable of handling life without spiraling into panic. So what's the smarter approach? Apologize once, confidently, and move on. Keep it brief, acknowledge the mistake, and then redirect the energy to something positive. For example, instead of a text essay full of sorries, you could say, "Hey, I messed up there, my bad. Let's grab a coffee soon and make it up." Short, accountable, and forward-focused. You've acknowledged responsibility without lowering your value or creating emotional weight. Humor works beautifully here too. If a minor mistake happens, a light joke can neutralize tension while keeping attraction high. For instance, "Missed that text. Clearly my phone hates me today." She laughs. You show awareness, and you don't come across as desperate. Confidence, humor, and emotional control all in one simple move. Another tip: don't apologize for your personality or natural energy. Men often over-apologize for being playful, teasing, or assertive. That's a fast track to low attraction. Women want a man who is comfortable in his own skin, not someone constantly seeking permission or validation. Bottom line, over-apologizing destroys attraction because it signals insecurity, low value, and lack of control. Instead, apologize once if necessary, stay confident, keep it light when possible, and redirect the energy toward positive, high-value interactions. This is how women see you as strong, grounded, and worth investing in emotionally. 7. Never reveal how much you like her. All right, gentlemen, we've reached the final and one of the most critical mistakes men make, telling a woman how much you like her too early or too often. And yes, I know you might be thinking, but Amanda, isn't honesty attractive? It can be, but only when it's framed correctly. Overloading her with affection, compliments, or declarations of love before she's fully invested doesn't make you romantic. It makes you predictable, needy, and less desirable. Here's the reality. Women are psychologically wired to respond to challenge and mystery. If you constantly tell her how amazing she is, how much you're thinking about her, or how perfect she is, her brain stops chasing. She knows exactly where she stands, which removes the mental tension that creates attraction. Early over-disclosure of feelings also shifts the dynamic. Suddenly you're vulnerable, emotional, and dependent on her response. That's a huge turnoff. Classic examples include texts like, "I can't stop thinking about you. You're perfect. I like you so much," or saying it in person on the first few dates. Even if your words are genuine, her brain reacts. Okay, I see his hand. He's giving everything away. There's no chase, no curiosity left. Attraction thrives on a balance of interest and restraint. Reveal too much too soon, and the tension disappears. Psychology confirms this. Studies in attraction and social behavior show that desire increases when there's a moderate uncertainty about the other person's feelings. A little mystery keeps her engaged and mentally replaying interactions with you. Too much disclosure, especially emotionally heavy or frequent declarations, kills curiosity and lowers perceived value. So, what's the smarter approach? Show interest through actions, humor, and light flirtation, rather than constant verbal affirmation. Let your energy, attention, and playful engagement communicate that you like her without spelling it out every 5 minutes. For example, a subtle compliment like, "I like your sense of humor. It's rare," paired with playful teasing or shared experiences, communicates interest naturally and keeps the dynamic exciting. Humor is your secret weapon here. A playful, lightly teasing comment about her quirks or habits can communicate attraction while maintaining high value and mystery. For instance, "Careful, you're making me look forward to seeing you again." It's fun, confident, and implies interest without sounding desperate. She starts replaying your interactions, noticing your energy, and mentally chasing instead of the other way around. Another key tip, balance affection with independence. Show that you care, but maintain your own life, energy, and emotional stability. Men who express interest subtly while keeping themselves high value are irresistible. Women want someone confident, playful, and engaging, not someone constantly proving how much they like them. Bottom line, revealing too much about how much you like her destroys attraction because it signals neediness and emotional overinvestment. Instead, communicate interest subtly through energy, humor, and playful engagement, keeping her curious and invested. All right, gentlemen, let's recap. Oversharing insecurities, complaining about your past, revealing every detail too soon, begging or over-explaining, lying about intentions, over-apologizing, and declaring how much you like her too early. All of these destroy attraction instantly. The key to keeping her intrigued, respectful, and interested is confidence, subtlety, humor, and mystery. Speak with purpose, show value through actions, and maintain emotional control. If you do this, attraction grows naturally, curiosity spikes, and she starts thinking about you more. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more real dating strategies and share your experiences in the comments. I want to hear your stories.